you ever lift your head up from your phone, look around, and think to yourself, my God, everything is weird? Well, we do. A lot. This is the Observation Station, a unique, entertaining, and hilarious podcast. If we observe it, we talk about it. Anything and everything. Anything and everything. Let's get weird and let's have some fun. This is the Observation Station. And now your host, Tommy Heights.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Observation Station for another episode. And today's topic is going to be, where's your next adventure? It's coming up here on the holidays. People have a lot of different plans when it comes to the end of the year travel. Sometimes they just stay at home. Other times they go on an airplane or just travel to family. It's all different kinds of things. So what are you guys doing nowadays? Everybody now is having all these dream bucket list vacations. So that's a big thing to a lot of people is get out and travel. But the biggest hindrance is going to be the financial aspect of it, where some of these plane tickets are costing ridiculous amounts of cash. So you got to have it where you're not financing these trips and paying them off for years to come. So let's dive in. Have it where I just speak about where my next adventures are going to be at so that I can have it where you guys know this is going to be some content coming out onto the channel in the near future. But just wanted to have it where I say, thanks again, guys, for being a listener here. Just past 75 episodes on the channel, so on my way to 100, so on and so forth. So the main thing today is going to be just trying to spark your imagination to say, hey, look, maybe I should just get out of my comfort zone, go out there and figure out where should I go and expand my horizons in life. A lot of things when it comes to traveling on the channel. I've been to Colombia, Brazil. I've cruised around to different places. The whole point of traveling, at least for me, is to have it where it opens my mind to different perspectives of how other people live. And it's not necessarily saying it's better or it's worse. It's just a different way of looking at it to say, okay, well, these guys may not have as much as what, in the United States, you'd think to say, well, if these guys don't have any money, how can they be happy? A lot of times these people are happier than folks you see in the United States that have all the money in the world from what it looks like. So it all comes down to the perspective. You see, when you go to different countries also, it gives you an expansion of life experiences to say, oh, this is a cultural difference that maybe I should just learn and see this is their land and not mine. I want to see how I can respect their culture and be a part of it. Many different places have different cultures that may to the United States seem a little bit odd. And even to me could be odd, or it's just a different way of living. These are things that the next adventure, it's going to be something where you look forward to it. Putting it as a goal, saying, oh man, I'm going to be going to Mexico City. Never been there. I want to have all this different kinds of food. I saw these attractions, amusements, parks, whatever it is, botanical gardens. When you have a trip lined up, it really does make whatever you're doing more fulfilling to say, oh man, I'm going to be going to Mexico City here. I'm saving up. Here's my fund to have a nice hotel or Airbnb, whatever it is. These are things that maybe at the end of the year you're saving up your PTO, say, oh man, I got my girlfriend or my wife or kids and whatnot. We're going to have a great time. These are the adventures that people should live for. What, as a person that's basically saying, go out there and do what you need to do, I have to take that advice also. It's very comfortable to be a homebody. Stay home, just watch TV, have every creature comfort that is needed in whatever your space is at home. And nowadays, with online ordering, it's I don't even have to go to the store. Why should I even leave the house? This is stuff that you can just click, and it's there. Sometimes it's even there the same day you order it. It's amazing. Amazon, They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be here in 5 hours. It's like, what? So my next adventure for you guys, I'm looking to have it where I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on previous episodes here, would be Buenos Aires. And Buenos Aires, the reason I want to go there, Colombia was fun. From Miami, it's a 3-hour plane trip. I went to Medellin, then I went to Rio de Janeiro, and, Latin America's fun. Rio and Medellin were fun, though I want to have a place which is a little bit safer at nighttime, which it doesn't even matter where you're at in Medellin or Rio. Even at nighttime, even in the nicest spots, it kind of feels a little bit sketchy at nighttime. So it's like, this doesn't, fit where you can just explore the city. Now, to each their own. If that's where people say, yeah, I feel safe going, do you? I said, I just don't, and everybody has their own way of looking at something. Luckily, I speak Spanish, so a lot of tough situations that might arise to say, hey, somebody's looking at me as a foreigner, and then they start speaking Spanish, I can respond in Spanish, which is a very, very big attribute to have when you're in a foreign country. It was a downfall in Rio because they speak Portuguese there. So even in Medellin, the part of El Poblado, which to me is like almost just a bunch of Americans that are really there, people just spoke more English a lot of times than Spanish. So it was kind of interesting to say you're leaving the United States to get a different country perspective, their food and everything. It's like, well, these guys are just like a whole transplant of folks from the United States that are speaking English. So it doesn't give you, in my opinion, the authentic Colombia, which I want to go to Bogota next. That'll be a good one. People in Medellin were like, oh my God, peligroso, which is dangerous, very dangerous. Watch out for Bogota. It's like, dude, if you're going to be going into bad spots of Bogota, which every big city has good spots and bad spots, I have to make that determination myself of if it's dangerous or not. Just like Rio. People said, oh, Rio, it's dangerous, da-da-da-da-da. From when you see the perspective of like the beaches and all that, it doesn't even look that dangerous. More or less, it's inviting. But it's at nighttime when you go into more of the city, even past like Copacabana and all that other stuff, things get a little bit sketchy. You're like, what's going on here? Da-da-da-da-da. So I don't want to have it where you can't explore at nighttime, which is kind of the pros of going to certain European countries, is you're not going to have any problems with the locals there once you explore at nighttime, as long as you're not having it where you're inebriated and you're falling all over the place and somebody just tries to take advantage of you. That's a completely different thing. Which, coming back to Buenos Aires, it's considered to be the safest city in the South Americas. So I'm all for that. The architecture almost even feels like you're in Europe. It's like they consider it the Paris of South America. Also, a lot of people there have descendancy from Europe, like Italy, Spain, lots of different countries, but usually Italy's a very big portion of the demographics that the descendants that have come into Buenos Aires or Argentina, which makes them have a very different appearance. Like the women over there have a very European, Italian aesthetic to them, which I find to be very attractive. I like Italian women, just like any guy probably would out there. I mean, how can't you? The Mediterranean look is just a really specific look for guys. They like the olive skin, they like the femininity. A lot of people now, especially guys, you can call them what you want, passport bros and whatnot, want to leave the United States to go to a different country and try to find a significant other, because a lot of the times here, which I'm noticing more and more and more, which a lot of the younger women, not actually like older women, they're not having a clue, these young girls, of what reality is. So some of them over here, especially in Miami, it's kind of like a bubble in Miami, where everybody sees the yachts, the cars, big, fast lifestyle. Girls are asked, well, what kind of income would you think that somebody that you're going to be going out with needs to be making? These girls are over here like, yeah, like 400,000, 500,000, $1 million, $2 million a year. It's like, lady, to have it where you're the 1% of the entire United States population is like $450,000 a year. So these women are like saying, oh, well, I want to have it where, in all reality, a 1% of 1% guy. It's like, lady, that's not going to be happening just off the bat. 1% of 1% is not going to be happening on a whim. And the girls are like, well, I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to sit here. No. Let them, hey, guys, fellas, let them manifest all they want on the guy that they're not going to get. And we go to a different country where the women appreciate us. We appreciate them. They appreciate us. Some of the things, too, where on YouTube, so say some guys go to a different country, they meet a girl, they have a great time, and they're like, wow, a woman that actually is not yelling at me constantly, berating me, making me feel inferior, which just hearing that comment, there's people that are going to be listening to that are just like, oh my God, that's not true. We would never do that. It's all men's fault. And then you think to yourself, it's all men's fault. It's all this. It's all that. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, lady, don't you think that that's why guys don't walk and approach women in the United States anymore? They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to be looked at as a creep. They don't want to be having it where you're making fun of them, ending up on YouTube, a whole plethora of things. It's not fun anymore. It's just more or less a trap. It's like a zero-sum game a lot of times where a guy will go up to a lady and just say, hey, how are you doing? I thought you were really pretty. Just wanted to, ew. It's like, all right, this is not going to run. Especially when I went to even Medellin. You have to be very careful specifically in Medellin because there's been a lot of times where tourists will go over there and then a girl will be way too into them where these guys are like, wow, a beautiful girl that is paying attention to me. I never get this back home. The guy starts getting it where it's like all the red flags that he sees are going out the window since it's like, whoa, I have a very attractive girl trying to come up to me, wanting to talk to me and having a good time. Lo and behold, they have it where there's a drug called scopolamine where they put it in your drink or something, which puts you in some kind of inebriated state where you're not really fully conscious. And like say you take them back to your apartment and all of a sudden they put that in your drink. You wake up, you're like, what the heck's going on? And you've been robbed. So it's all about trying to figure out a fine line to say, do I feel like this is something that is normal? Why did this girl come up to me? And is she way over the top? Especially if you're in a foreign country, a lot of times you have to just know the lay of the land. A lot of times do your research online to say, hey, are there any problems that, women are drugging and robbing people? It happens a lot of times in countries. So just be aware. That's the best thing I could say. And just trying to have it where when you go out of the comfort zone, having the adventure to say, look, I'm going to meet some people. Maybe there's going to be some rude ones out there, which, look, there's billions of people. There's going to be rude people. And figure out what is it that I need to do to feel fulfilled and be social. Go out and say, look, right now you could have social anxiety, awkwardness, and whatnot. Everybody is going to have to start off somewhere. But if it's where you just say hi, and just keep going. It's not as easy when you say it, but when the practice is being done and a lot of times of repetition of just going out there and asking people, hey, how you doing? Oh, I know, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Just to get the social interaction going. These are the kinds of things. Adventures don't have to necessarily be, oh, I'm going to be taking a trip. Adventures could be like, hey, I'm going to be doing this volunteer group to clean up the ocean here. I'm just using South Florida ways of volunteering, clean up the beach, helping feeding the homeless. What is the adventure that you will need to do in your life to get outside of the comfort zone? I did Toastmasters one time. That was a fun thing. I got third place, but it was like out of 20 people go, oh, still. But a lot of times with Toastmasters, the people that are coming there are coming to kind of learn the public speaking. They're scared a little bit or hesitant, where I had already done public speaking for years and years and years, where it came natural to me. But the fun thing at Toastmasters was they gave you an impromptu topic. So you had to pick it out of like a hat, and it'd be like, whatever, like, whatever it is, like just a random topic. And you had 30 seconds to just kind of come up with something and say it to the class to say, okay, well, today's topic is blah, 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 which is a little bit like what I do right here on the observation station. So third place, I was like, okay, that's fine. It's first time here, whatnot. But look, hey, I mean, there's got to be things where you've even looked at it and said, I got to do something with my life. This is the same thing every single day. I'm doing the same exact stuff. It's boring. It's repetitive. Why do I get up in the morning? If your life is just going to be getting up, going to work, eating, sleeping, and doing some, whatever on the TV, watching a Netflix show and repeating that for the rest of your existence, what a waste. You have so much more to give. So, I mean, I'm going to be looking to volunteer and to do different things. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, volunteering is something where you can add a little bit of positivity to whatever the cause is that you're doing, which, why not? The world a lot of time is so negative that when you go out there, say, okay, what is it that an impact, which is a positive movement, which I have control over, can I add to the world? Many times, a lot of people go, like when I was talking in the last episode about the 2024 election fatigue, a lot of people say, my vote, it doesn't even matter. If your vote doesn't matter and hundreds of millions of people in this country said my vote doesn't matter, then why even have an election? There all is a reason for you to have an ability to vote. That is the beauty of this country, is that you have a voice. A lot of different places, you don't have a voice. You go to Russia, you go to North Korea, you're like, hey, no, that's not going to happen. First off, if you voice that opinion out loud, you won't be around for much longer on the streets, I can tell you that. So figuring out what are your goals, saying, I need to do this, that is an adventure too. A lot of times people have not had any direction. They have not had focus, goals, direction to do anything in life to say, I got to hit this. Going to the gym, getting healthy. These are adventures also. Making all kinds of different ways to say, what can I get excited about? I'm going to wake up and be super excited. Come on. These are the things that you should be looking forward to. A lot of people just sound like Eeyore all day long. They're, I'm so sad. I can't do this. I don't have the money. Do you think people are going to want to hang out with you like that? No. Let me give you that. No, they're not going to want to hang out with you like that. The buddies that are fun to hang out are like, hey, man, you want to go do the, putt-putt golf. You want to play laser tag. It's like, I haven't done that. No, I've never done that. Keeping an open mind to say, yeah, that sounds fun. Or, hey, do you want to go to the concert of whatever it is? It's like, yeah, I've never heard of their music. I'm a fan of that genre. Let's just see what's going on. So say you go to that concert. I'll give you an example. Then you meet a girl or something like that. You're like, wow, hey, you like music. Oh, you sing? Wow. Well, when are you going to be singing? Oh, well, I'll be over here at this venue. All right. Well, tell me about it. Let me get your number. Blah, 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 blah. And then you talk to her. And from there, it's like, okay, now you're going to a different adventure. You started off from going to a concert, now to a venue, to meeting different people. Then she starts introducing you to her friends. It's like, what? Man, 2 weeks ago, I was just eating Cheetos and watching Netflix specials. It's like, wow, this is what stepping out of your comfort zone becomes. Not only is it where the horizons of life become to expand and become more fruitful, it's like a compound effect. Once you see one thing and have it where another catalyst of, getting hit, it's just... What the main thing I'm trying to say is, like, try different things. If you don't try different things, it's going to be the same thing every single day. No one wants to do the same exact thing every single day. That is going to get repetitive and boring, which is why a lot of times people go, yeah, I need to have some spice in my life. Of course you do. Right now, it's just kind of like no offense to the British people, but it's like beans and toast. It's bland. Nothing there is going to be like a, French cuisine or something with all these different, like Indian cuisine, all these different spices and aromas. It's like, whoa, look at this. You could have it where you have all these 10, 12 different spices and never have even had that before. It's like, wow, that's an adventure. Going to a different cuisine to say, hey, Ethiopian. I tried Ethiopian with my father a couple of years ago. Didn't even know about it. Tried like injera bread. Like Ethiopian food's like, what's that? Because a lot of people in the United States are used to Mexican, Italian, American, obviously, Chinese, which really the Chinese food that we're eating in the United States is not even considered like real Chinese food. I mean, General Tso's chicken is the farthest thing from authentic Chinese food. So, but yeah, look, this is what you need to do. Write down what you want to do. Then you can have it where you can doubt yourself for 5 minutes and figure out when you doubt yourself, because that's a normal pattern. Say, oh my God, why am I doubting myself? Am I really this worthless in life? Am I just useless? Yeah, actually, why did I even write this down? You're going to have those exact thoughts. I know a few of you are. And some of them won't even write it down because they gave up. A lot of people, they died after college inside, and they're just basically dead men and women walking out there in the landscape of, corporate America. That's not going to be something which you are going to have somebody at your funeral say, this guy lived a great life. Yeah, he did. He just kind of just woke up. He was a hard worker. Yeah, hard worker. Didn't have a family, but wanted a family. And nice guy, good neighbor. Picked up my mail. It's like, this guy didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you could say good guy, nice guy, da-da-da-da-da. It's all easy to say when they're dead and gone. But it's like, dude, you got to live your own life, because once that funeral is coming, or celebration of life, however, it is, it's over. No more adventures. I mean, now you're in an afterlife, if you believe in that. But don't take it for granted. God gave you another day to live and say, okay, what is it that is needing to be fulfilled in your heart to say, I got to do something to make it happy for my life? Because if it's just sad and miserable and that's not fun. You got to go out there and say, let's do this. What are we going to make happen? And if you can't make things happen and you just are a quitter, no one's going to want to hang out with you. It's going to be the most boring person yourself to hang out with. And you're going to, I have no friends. Why not? Because you're not doing anything. The only people that would want to hang around with you are other people that aren't doing anything. Because then you can mope together and say, oh my God, and then give them all pats on the back. It's just everyone patting each other on the back. It's like, all right, this is just useless. You got to have somebody to be like, you're not doing that. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's get out of there. Don't tell someone to get excited. No one's going to get excited on something they weren't excited from the start. But it's just like, hey, let's do this. If you don't like it, then that's it. Sometimes it's like, wow, I never even knew about this. This is actually pretty cool. That's when that adventure starts, because it's just going to be a snowball. It's like, well, let me learn a little bit more about, whatever this is. Is it a concert? I've never heard of this band before. Let me hear of more people that do this genre of music. Just keep it going. Whenever you stop doing things that make it, have it like a zest for life, and you start feeling like, well, I'm just going to be living until I die. So, okay, well, I hope you don't have that attitude when it's like trying to go out there to, if you have children, and say, hey, everybody wants to make a difference in the world. And when you realize that you don't make any difference out there, and just stick to what you do, keep your head down, and don't mess up anything. And then the kids are going to be like, well, I guess my dad's right, or my mom's right, that I shouldn't do anything that's out of the ordinary, because, they're my mom and dad, and I don't want to make them disappointed, because that would really hurt me. Now, sometimes the parents are the ones that kill your own dreams. Say you want to be a musician, and they're like, oh my God, you want to be a musician? You should be a doctor or a lawyer. Okay, well, do what you do. Don't do what they want. Do what is going to make you happy. If you want to go out there and be a musician, play in the subway stations, and have it where people come up to you and, give you tips, hopefully money tips and not musical tips unless they're an actual musician, then that's your adventure, man. Go out there, play that music. Somebody out there, if you're good enough, is going to be like, hey, man, want to actually have you where, we have a band get together. Would like to have it where we have somebody that plays whatever instrument it is, the violin or anything. We'd like to have somebody like you to come and join because I like your skills. Maybe even there somebody has some connections to say, dude, you got some great skills. I need to hook you up with my touring manager to see if we can get you out on the road. And obviously, it sounds simpler when I'm explaining it like that, though these are different ways that life can happen. Everybody has their own way of going about things. Not everybody wants the BMW, big house, and family. Some people just want to be where they have a modest car, a modest house, and just live a simple life, but that makes them happy. Their adventures are having what's like, oh my God, the new book's coming out here. I'm going to go to a book club. That to them is an adventure because those people that they meet at the book club read the book and have the same enthusiasm for that specific hobby of book reading and book clubs. So that's their adventure. Oh my God. They're speaking about the story, and in their minds, they're going out there on a trip. So, but to wrap this up, the thing is, have it where, it's going to wrap up here very soon here in 2024. Take a good look at where you're at right now and say, is this where I want to be at, or am I improving? What is the standpoint before 2025 to go into that year, just like every other year you go into, just sprinting. Don't even stop. Just keep sprinting right through there. No need to say, hey, I got a New Year's resolution. Just do the resolution now. You don't have to wait. Because if most of the resolutions are broken a couple weeks, even heck, the next day after New Year's, then what are you going to be? You've just wasted all this time. Get it done now. Do it when you have it in your mind to say, I got to get this done. Get it done. Stop procrastinating. The procrastination is just going to have it where you look back and it's just going to build up on anxiety because you haven't done any of it. It's just like throwing dirty clothes on the side of the room there and saying, I'll get to that. Then you finally get to cleaning the laundry and it's like, okay, they're clean. I'll throw them back in the corner because I'm not going to hang them up or fold them. It's a perpetual life cycle of procrastination is the biggest killer of progress. So, all right, well, wrapping up this episode, just to have it where the teaser for the next episode is going to be doom scrolling. What are you looking at on social media, the phone, Netflix, anything? What is it that you're doing? How much time is being wasted just staring at a screen with no purpose whatsoever, but just going in circles for hours and hours and hours? So wanted to just kind of have it where you are sparked. Tell me your next adventure. Send me an email or whatever it is, however you think it is. Maybe just to be on a guest of the show to tell me what adventures you took. I'd love to have it where people say they took some advice from the show. It doesn't even have to be where it was a huge thing to say I traveled across the world. Just somebody with a little bit of a spark of creativity to say, hey, you told me this, I did this, and look at what happened. So, all right, guys. Well, keep your heads up. The weekend's coming. What are you going to do Saturday and Sunday? It's already November 1st. Let's get it. Make things happen. Go on your next adventure. I'm Tommy Heights. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to The Observation Station. We find everyday life and everyday situations hilarious. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And be sure to tell a friend about the show. That would help too. See you next time on The Observation Station.